In this video, I'm going to take what I've learned from implementing Zoho over 141 times and boil it down to the basics so you can do less and accomplish more with the Zoho platform. What is CRM? Well, CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management. The way that I like to think about it is CRM equals how do we give our customers the best experience possible? So instead of thinking of the jargon CRM, just think, how are we giving our customers the best experience possible? But when people throw around the term CRM in today's landscape with business, they're typically referring to your system, right? The software platform that you're using to record your customers' information. And in that respect, I like to think of CRM like the contacts app on your phone. When you meet someone, you want to have a relationship with them, keep in touch at any kind of level, you'll say, let me grab your phone number, let me add you as a contact into my phone so I can keep track of your information. And if I need to reach out to you, I can. Okay, so CRM equals best experience possible for your customer, but CRM software is about taking real things in real life and making them digital. Right? So when you go on your contacts app and you see Drew Brockbank's contact, that's not me. That's your digital representation of me. So the whole aim of CRM is let's take all the real things that are happening in your business, the visits, the invoices, the contacts, the leads, the deals, whatever it might be, and let's make a digital representation of these things so we can keep track of it and use that data to give our customers the best experience possible. So what is Zoho? Well, Zoho is a company that created a CRM platform. It's very popular. It's got 100 million users. It's a very robust platform, but it's not just a CRM. It's also your marketing automation system. It's your ticketing system. It's your bookkeeping system. It's all the systems that are important to run a business in one platform. So what is the Zoho platform or system? Well, I like to think of the Zoho platform, HubSpot, Salesforce, any of the major CRMs, really any software application at all, as a pretty spreadsheet. If you think about it, in a spreadsheet, you'll have different rows and you'll have different columns. Columns represent data points or fields. So when you go into a record, you've probably been in a CRM before. If you've worked in a business and you pulled up a customer's record and it says phone and then it has their phone number, imagine that as a column or a cell within a column in a spreadsheet. And then you have the different rows in a spreadsheet, which would be the specific record, right? So if I was a customer of your business and you signed me up as a customer, you would use a CRM to collect that information. Initially, you might use an ERP system, enterprise resource planning. But the idea is it is really a spreadsheet on steroids. It can do much more than a spreadsheet. It can do one of the simple things, just to give you an idea of the difference between a spreadsheet and a CRM. If you're trying to evaluate the pros and cons of just staying on spreadsheets or moving over to a CRM system, you can't even click into a record inside of a spreadsheet, right? So if you've been when you go on your phone and you click on a contact and you look through a record, where's the option in a spreadsheet when you see a row? It says Drew, Brockbank, phone number, email, etc. Where's your option to double click and go into the, you can't do something like that. And the reason that's important is when you click into a record, you can see related information that isn't just that record, but all related records to that. You can do that in a CRM. So quickly I don't want to get too technical here because I know this is for beginners, but I think this is important. The Zoho platform is taking advantage of what's called relational databases. Or in other words, where a spreadsheet fails is because it's very easy to start and it's very flexible to use. It's not as robust over time because any cell can mean anything. You have to start adding more and more features and strictness into a spreadsheet environment, whereas a platform like Zoho or most modern day CRMs already have these different checks. For example, if you add a phone number field, it's only going to accept the phone number input. If you use a spreadsheet, you can kind of do whatever you want. It's kind of the wild west with the spreadsheet over time. It doesn't scale very well. So what oftentimes happens is people start on a spreadsheet, but then as they wise up, they move over to a robust CRM platform so they can have all of their information structured in a way that enables them to report and track things in the best way possible. So when you think of the Zoho platform, just think about it as hundreds of spreadsheets with a very pretty interface. That way you can visualize or see the data in a better way. So what are some of the Zoho bundles or packages that they offer? Well, the first and most important one to know is Zoho One. 99% of my clients are on Zoho One. And if they're on other Zoho packages or plans or offerings, I like to bring them over to Zoho One because it's got 46 plus applications. Okay, so as we go through here, you're going to see the flagship one, the CRM. This is the most robust application. It's where you're initially going to put your customer information, your lead information. But then you've got a simple CRM, which is kind of like a pipe drive alternative, appointment scheduling, a Calendly alternative, marketing automation, a HubSpot marketing hub alternative, email marketing. It's a little simpler. It's kind of like a MailChimp alternative, social media marketing. It's like a Buffer alternative. And I say alternative, but these are up to snuff. You can use them and evaluate it on a per application basis, but you're not going to find any deal better than this for business software. Okay, so Zoho One, all employee pricing is $37 per employee per month billed annually, or flexible user pricing, $90 per user per month billed annually. If you're a small organization, this is a steal of a deal for $37 per user per month. So there's nothing that's going to beat Zoho One in terms of what you're going to get for applications in software and what you're going to pay for. There's just nothing out there in the market like this, and that's what makes Zoho One Zoho One. So you can check this out. Start a free trial, no credit card required. If you'd like to, I'll have a link in the description below if you want to start that, so that you can experience the Zoho platform for yourself. But this is bundle number one, okay? So you might think to yourself, 46 applications, that's extremely overwhelming. My case for it is it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. As you continue to run an organization, a business, and grow it, the needs for software will only continue to grow. It's better to be on a platform with 46 applications out of the box that you can start to implement than get a platform, especially here. I'm going to make an argument for an industry specific because this is something I encounter a lot when I'm on calls with people evaluating Zoho. Some people will say to me, well, Zoho One's good, but it's kind of generic and it's got a lot of features, but I don't know what to use. But I found this other software called ABCD software, and it's our industry specific. My argument for it, for Zoho over an industry specific platform, is when someone goes industry specific with a platform or application, they're appealing to a smaller subset of a market. So they're receiving less money, which means they have less development power to make that application more robust. So what I'm saying is it becomes more limited. That makes sense, right? They're appealing to a smaller subset of the market. They're going to have less funds to develop a more robust solution. So industry-specific solutions, applications, platforms, software, you hit the ceiling of what it can do much quicker. And so I do a lot of these projects where people have hit the ceiling. They're really frustrated because they're stuck inside of a system that's not robust. They've outgrown the system. And then they have to pay a lot of money to ship all that information over to a platform such as Zoho One. And so that's my argument, is when I see people on the front end and they're evaluating, like I've seen people on the back end who have hit the ceiling of that application, software solution, or an industry specific solution, and then they have to move over. And so that's a quick argument for if you're doing any kind of evaluation between these bundles and maybe an industry specific application or solution, why you might consider going with Zoho One as opposed to an industry specific solution. Back to the bundles. Okay, so you got Zoho One. That's really their flagship offering. I like to tell my clients all roads lead to Zoho One. So you can go with other different packages, but this is really the thing that you want to evaluate initially because it's what makes Zoho Zoho. Okay, so here's the pricing for Zoho One. At the time of recording this video, you may want to, they've only changed the pricing once in the last 5 years that I've been on this platform. It was a minimum price hike or is a minimal price hike. So if you want to check that out currently, go to Zoho One pricing and check it out yourself, or click on the link in the description below, start a trial, and then you can evaluate it from there. Then you've got Zoho CRM Plus. Oftentimes when I have a client on Zoho CRM Plus, I will move them over to Zoho One. I'll do a free migration over because while it's good, Zoho One is better. You just get more of the applications. So there's overlap, but the important thing to understand about Zoho CRM Plus is you're just getting less applications. So remember, in Zoho One, you get these 46 applications. Look at the different applications that you get with Zoho CRM Plus. This is the icon for Zoho CRM Plus. Live chat, that's Sales IQ. Social marketing, that is Zoho Social. Zoho CRM, Zoho Desk, Zoho Marketing Automation, Zoho Projects, Zoho Backstage. You're just getting less of these applications. When I am consulting a client on how to use Zoho, I like to have all the tools, all of the available applications in my back pocket so I can deploy them in the most strategic way possible. What I hate is when someone's in Zoho CRM Plus and I want to use an application such as Zoho Flow, then they have to buy yet another subscription on top of the bundle they're already paying for just so I can do a task or two. I love being inside of Zoho One. It just allows rapid development of your CRM platform, if you will. Okay, let's talk about Zoho CRM Plus pricing. So if you want, you can start a free trial of this as well if you want to check it out. You have the pricing here. So monthly, if you pay month to month, it's $69 per user. This is in USD for my out of US audience or international audience here. So this is $69 USD per user month to month. Then if you pay annually per user, it drops down to $57 per user per month. Again, that's billed annually. So the big difference to understand, and you can go spec by spec if you'd like to. If we did that in this video, it'd be 3 hours long. The big thing to understand here is you're getting less apps with Zoho CRM Plus. And you might think to yourself, we'll start on Zoho CRM Plus, and then once we outgrow it, you can move to Zoho One. You can do that if you'd like. It can get really messy to do that, but do what you know is best for your organization. Outline your requirements, your processes, match that up against the system. But if you're looking to an expert to give you guidance, my recommendation is start with Zoho One, because most people who get on Zoho One do not leave because it's so much software for the price, and it's able to handle most, if not all, the operations in your business within one platform. Tell me of another software company or offering that can do that. Applications, objects, modules, platforms, all this terminology gets really confusing. But hopefully you're seeing that in the structure of this video, it's like a Russian nesting doll. We're going one layer deeper at a time, right? So we started with CRM, then we went to Zoho, where Zoho as a company fits into that, then where Zoho's platform fits into Zoho, and then within the Zoho platform, you can purchase different bundles of the software that they offer. And within that, once you get a bundle offering or an application, you have the application level. So within a platform, there can be multiple applications. And it's important to understand this stuff generally. That way, when we're saying words to each other, we know what we're referencing. And so I'm going to draw the line in the sand for you. This is the Zoho One platform. The way that we can tell is a platform will have 2 or more applications within it. So oftentimes people will say, hey, these are different modules. These are not modules. You can say that and I'll know what you mean, but that's just not what they are. These are apps. Hence why you see apps here inside of the Zoho One sidebar. So the nice thing about Zoho One is you can access all of these different applications from one place, as opposed to having 20 different tabs open with their own unique databases. It gets really overwhelming really fast. Now, this is the interface for an application. So I'm just in the difference here is this is still Zoho CRM. But if I had just purchased the application as opposed to the platform, then I would see this kind of interface. So this is the in-app interface. This is the in-platform interface, okay? So platform, 2 or more applications. In-app, just the application itself. Now, these are modules, right? Within an application, you have different modules. And these modules here represent, we also refer to modules, by the way, as objects. Of your modules, objects, they really are synonymous. They pretty much mean the same thing. And these modules just represent different things in real life digitally. So a lead, the real thing that a lead represents is an unqualified opportunity to do business with somebody. And you have a deal, it's a qualified opportunity to do business with someone. So usually in a B2C context, you're not going to have the deals module, but in B2B, certainly critical. Contacts, accounts, contacts universally, B2C, B2B, you're going to want contacts, and then accounts will represent different organizations that you want to collect their information for in your own database. Contacts, the people, deals, qualified opportunities, leads, unqualified opportunities, and on and on and on. Quote, what you are saying the price is for a certain good or service / product or product, tasks, the different things that you're going to do. You can see as we go down the line, these just represent real things in your business. The nice thing too is these different modules you can integrate with other systems like Google Ads as an example, calls with your phone bridge. You can even do text as well. You can bring those into the system. That way the information or the real things that you represent digitally can get into your system automatically without you having to do manual data input. Hence kind of the craze of making integrations nowadays. So with that, that's the difference, right? We have CRM, which is giving people the best customer experience possible. It's really an idea or a concept. Within that, you have Zoho, which has created a platform to support that idea. And then within the platform, you have multiple bundles of software. You can get Zoho CRM Plus, Zoho One. Those are the popular ones. Or you can just get a specific application that brings us to the next level, which is an application. I like to think of as an application as a spreadsheet with multiple tabs. Each tab in the spreadsheet, at the bottom, if you have a Google Sheet open, you have different tabs. If you add multiple tabs, each of those tabs would represent a module. And then we'll get into deeper layers of Zoho from there. What's more important than collecting data and representing real things digitally is actually doing something about it. And the way that you can actually do something about the data that you're collecting is by putting your processes into your system. So within Zoho, the way that I like to do it is start with the details. You might be thinking to yourself, yeah, but Drew, you're kind of crazy. You do this every day. This is what you like doing. Well, I have never seen a successful implementation of Zoho or of any kind of system unless people get into the details of the steps. And within every process, think about it in two levels. You have the steps, the specific things that you're going to do in the process, and then the stages, which are the general phases of the process itself. So let me give you an idea of what this looks like inside of Zoho. So these are different stages of a sales process. Again, anything with a process can be represented in statuses or stages, which again are the general phases of that particular process. So every time you hear process, just think about it splitting into two pieces. You have the stages and the steps. Okay, so that gives you a high level understanding of where things are at. So now you're seeing modules and then the records, which are the specific instance of that real thing. To make that more clear, the real thing here is an opportunity. So if I'm doing an opportunity, if I have an opportunity with Nationwide to build their CRM, I would add a record. These cards are different records. Then here, these are the different fields within the record. So the stage here is needs analysis. So I can quickly say, okay, I have a deal or an opportunity to do business with Nationwide here. It's in the needs analysis stage. You might be thinking, well, Drew, how did you figure out all these different stages? And that's what's kind of counterintuitive about this. When you design a process, you shouldn't start from the top down. You should start from the bottom up. Because once you write out the process, that will inform or help you make a decision for what steps to group up into a stage. And so start with the details first. Just take a bunch of raw notes, then clean up the raw notes. I highly recommend when you're doing any kind of process mapping, you could do some flowcharts. They look really cool. They look really clean. But I can tell you right now, a lot of visual process diagrams don't have the information necessary to inform executing a process. Go ahead and give this to a new employee and tell me if they can use your CRM correctly. It looks great. It's great to show a system design. It's not great when you actually got to go execute a task. So start at the most detailed level and do it in who, will, what format. For example, who, and I say who, not just in terms of a person, but also to designate the actor. When I say actor, it's just the thing that's going to do something, right? So if that's Zoho Forms, if Zoho Forms is going to do something, it's who Zoho Forms will, and what are they going to do? Create a contact, or what is Zoho Forms going to do? Create a contact record in the Zoho CRM subscriber column. So who, will, what is format is great. You can also add notes and then kind of do, a freestyle format. But who, will, what generally is a great way to stick to a very clear instruction as to what to do. Because if I skip the who too, think about it this way. It says push contact information to Zoho Marketing Automation, and I didn't put Zoho CRM. Is Zoho CRM going to do it? Am I going to do that? Is my manager going to do that? Is Zoho Analytics going to do it? You want to be more specific. And that's where it goes from a science, who, will, what, to more of an art, where how much detail am I supposed to put? Well, look at this. This should give you some inspiration as to what good documentation looks like. And then I'm going to go a layer deeper into this. What's really helpful is once you get your processes down, you can put them into SOPs and you can start chunking different parts of your process. And especially if you're a company leader or entrepreneur, you want to learn the art of leverage, which is offloading to other people and then using automation so that you don't have to use any kind of human resource in order to do something. You can have Zoho do it for you. So I'm constantly trying to get my clients to offload what they're doing so that they can spend their time doing the most important things in their organization. One way we do that, we automate in two ways: by giving it to other people, so delegation, kind of human automation, if you will, and then using processes that are detailed and saying Zoho can do step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then offload it over to automation or Zoho or another system. Okay, so that's really important to understand. You've got steps and you got stages. If you want to understand your stages, you got to write out your steps. Of course, these things are going to change. By the way, that's a big concern. People are like, I'm going to do all this work, it's going to change. Well, good news, if you're one of my clients and you're watching this, I make this documentation for my clients. They talk, I list it out. And then I give it to them. And if they want to, they can make updates. But it's better to have something like this than nothing. This is a very robust version, by the way. This is like from A to Z, how someone runs their marketing, sales, and service, parts of their business. But I do this I'll zoom into a very specific process and build this out, or I'll do this more generally from A to Z, how someone runs their organization. I usually do this during a discovery so I can get a good idea of what an organization that I'm working with does currently, so I can improve upon their processes. But it's really important to understand these things, because once you get this document, yes, your processes might change, but at least you have an easy modifiable document as opposed to something like this. And I'm just not a huge fan of flowcharts. I think they're good at explaining how a system is going to work, but when you got to actually work the system or start doing things in the system, that's where it kind of falls apart for me. And that's where I think you need to, because how are you supposed to, let's say a part of this process changed. Instead of visiting website, you use Zoho Sales Like You use a different platform. Well, now I have to go into this flowchart and edit that. And you might think, well, that's kind of easy. What if 3 things change? Then I have to get used to editing it visually, whereas written requirements are much easier to change. If you want a more in-depth review of this whole process and how I do this, you can always go into, and by the way, this is a B2C example. We also do this for many B2B organizations. We've done this for 141 different organizations, giving them detailed instructions on how to use Zoho. If you want a more in-depth review of how we do these things, go into my Zoho Learn video. It's one of those videos I put so much work into, and then the algorithm was like, no. And I really love that video. So if you want to check that out, you can go through it. But that is the stages and steps, right? So within applications, you have these different objects or modules. Within these objects or modules, you have the stages and the steps of your process. Because again, the whole idea of CRM isn't just to collect lots of information for fun so you can report on it. It's to actually do something about the data you're collecting so you can provide the best customer experience possible. So you have the idea of CRM. Underneath that, you've got platforms such as Zoho. In a platform, you have multiple applications, like Zoho CRM, for example, is an application. Then Zoho CRM, you have these different beautiful modules/objects. Then within each object, you have stages. You should have most of the time. It depends on how much you're acting on these different objects. Some of these objects, instead of like Google Ads, like you don't need to have necessarily stages and steps, but it's helpful because again, you're collecting data so that you can do something about the information you're collecting. Then within each stage, you'll have these different records. We're almost getting to the bottom of the barrel here, or the innermost Russian nesting doll. So each record is just an instance of a thing. And the way you can think about it is go into a spreadsheet. Most of the spreadsheets that you have that are filled out, each row represents one time a thing is there. So if you have Drew Brockbank, Jane Doe, there's 2 times that a contact occurs in a spreadsheet. So I have Nationwide, Liberty Mutual, Cisco Systems. These are 3 instances or 3 records. It's a record of a different deal. A deal is an attempt that I'm making to do business with someone. and they're qualified. When I say qualification, that just means they're legitimate about moving forward. I'm vague on purpose there. There's got to be room for people to decide what qualification means for them. Quick note, if you want to go down the rabbit hole, one thing that's important to understand, or an important framework, is BANT, budget, authority, need, timeline. That's a quick way to do qualification. That's a side note. Back to this, you have your different records. And within each record, you have different fields. And a field is a way that you can collect a certain data point. This is the bottom of the barrel, right? This is the innermost Russian nesting doll, is the fields. So a field example here would be the name of a deal. So nationwide existing, I'm using this structure for capturing a deal name to say, what's the company that I'm attempting to do business with? Are they an existing customer or are they a new customer? Okay. Contact name, that's a data point. All of these are the different data points that can give us valuable information so we can move forward. Now, quick thing here as far as UI UX, you can actually change the way that these fields look on a record. You can go to a tabular format where you just click on different tabs and you see that. I don't love doing that. I don't mind the doom scroll. We're all used to doom scrolling. So I don't like having information buried or fields buried within tabs and tabs. It just gets really confusing. I'd rather just scroll through, and I like the ability to just go Zoho users and then say, great, here's the field. And then if it's a tab, then I have to click into the tab in order to do my Command F on a Mac search, and it can get really annoying. Here's another advantage here with collecting information inside of a CRM. So we went stages, steps, stages within a stage, records. Within records, we have data points, which you're seeing here. This is something we're very familiar with, right? You go on your phone, you add someone's phone number. You could also add their email and company, right? That's like if you have an iPhone, those are different fields. We never fill those out, but we could. Those are different data points that we collect on a person. It's different attributes of an object, right? So attributes for me, you could say hair color, brown/black, eye color, brown, right? Those are different attributes of me. But that's not the information you want to collect in your business. Information you want to collect on your business is what you're seeing here. And one way to collect this information, just kind of kick off the process of adding the right fields, because you can add your own custom fields. It comes with some baseline fields, is ask yourself this question: what information is critical for me to collect right now? If you want to know what you should collect, you should probably go to an expert who can analyze your organization and tell you. Also, another really helpful way of doing it is starting with your process. Again, those steps, if you outline your steps first, that will inform you of the critical information that needs to be collected. So if you're basically, the reason I'm bringing that up is if you're looking at this thinking to yourself, these are so many fields, how am I supposed to decide what fields to add? Start with the steps, and that will inform you of the different fields that you need to add in your system. Okay, now it's time to outline one of the advantages here between a CRM platform and a spreadsheet. So one of the things I said earlier, if you watched an earlier section of this video, where you can't even collect. So let's put this in tabular format. This is going to make more sense. Tabular just means it looks like a tabular format just means it looks like a spreadsheet. Okay, so if I put this in list view, looks like a spreadsheet. Okay, here's my columns, here's my rows. Inside of a spreadsheet, you can't click on a record like I just did, and then have it open the record and then give you the context or show you the process. You can't do that. So that's one of the big advantages. Another big advantage is you can have these different custom views where you can essentially jump into different pre-filtered, and you can have filters inside of a spreadsheet, but having them pre-filter like this is another advantage. Okay, one of the big advantages here though is having the ability here in the related list to see. And again, this goes to relational databases, which is a whole other rabbit hole that we're not going to go down right now, but applications and software really took advantage of relational databases and made that applicable to businesses who are trying to execute customer relationship management, or in other words, giving their customers the best experience possible. So with that, the reason that's all important is now I can see all the notes related to this record. And you have to understand these objects are different, right? This is a really difficult thing to explain to beginners, but I'm gonna take a shot. I wasn't initially gonna do this, but I'm gonna take a shot at this. So notes, if you had like a notes field here, right, and it was a multi-line field, which is just a big field here where I could add notes. that field gets so long. Let's say I had this system for 10 years and I just kept adding notes to the same record. It would be so long to open that record. But when you use a relational database, now you can split these different records into multiple objects. So notes, I can add a note that says, we'll do demo. And then let's say I had a sales call 2 weeks later after I did this, I could add another note and do demo 2. And then all of a sudden these are different records. So that's just for notes. Let's say for emails, and I integrated my email client. I can see all my individual emails within the context of the record. You can't do that within a spreadsheet as well. So that's helpful. All my text messages, if I integrate with my texting solution or SMS solution, I can see each of the cadences they've been in or each of the email series that I've sent them in, all the contact roles associated, and I can just doom scroll through all the relevant information to this record. So that's a huge advantage as far as displaying data for users, and this huge, you now have this big data daddy advantage, data daddy being you got to collect data in your organization so you can report on it and then make better decisions. Because all this information is tied together, when I go to report on it, I usually use Zoho Analytics, the most robust solution for reporting inside of Zoho CRM, inside the Zoho platform at large. And applications outside the Zoho platform, you can bring it into Zoho Analytics and report on it. It looks like a spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet will have IDs, and those IDs will tie to each other. That's what makes it a relational database. And so it opens up this huge opportunity for your organization to collect data, report on it, and make better decisions so you can provide your customers the best experience possible. Zoho can do a lot more than what I went over inside of this video. So if you want to check out what Zoho CRM or Zoho One is capable of, go ahead and click on my Zoho One video or my Zoho CRM video.